Do you believe the internet is toxic, or do you think it's a great place? Hey, Jason here. And if you've been watching the channel, you've been seeing me go through Johannesburg. As you see, I'm in a different location right now. I am still in South Africa, though. And most importantly, you've been seeing me talk about success, what it is, and how to get it in the 3 areas of life that I focus on, which are happiness, health, and wealth. And my apologies for the camera quality today. I forgot my tripod at the house, and I'll have that tomorrow, so it'll be better quality. And you may be like, Jason, I didn't see a new video put out for the last 2 days. The reason being is there was some kind of explosion or something that happened not too far from where I live in South Africa, and it actually ended up knocking out our electricity. So that's why I'm in a new spot right now, because it doesn't look like we're getting electricity back anytime soon. And so if you're new to the channel, the definition of success by Earl Nightingale is the progressive realization of a worthy idea. And let's just be honest, man. There's a lot of things that are very worthy that's going on the internet, but you may not actually notice what it really means. And so this is what I mean by it is, so like you see a lot of videos now of former actors, musicians, wrestlers, a lot of people in different industries. Even you see people just regular workplaces, things like that, and they're coming off very, very angry now. But really listen to some of the things they're saying and what they're talking about. So what most of them are talking about, they're talking about the quality of how you're being treated, the things that are going on in the background behind the scenes. And we're now in a place now where, thankfully, because of the internet, messages can get out to the masses without being diluted. And so what I mean by that is, like, think of like a musician back in the day. Man, I cannot cut that thing off. Think of a musician like back in the day. Like, we're talking about like doing Michael Jackson, that era. When things were going on in the background that they may have not agreed with or liked, who could they tell besides their closest family members? They couldn't just go to the media, because even if they said they're going to the media would report to the record label. Then a record label will be like, no, you can't do this. Like, we see these scandals all the time, all throughout industries. But also, like, you're starting to see people, they're talking about just the regular workplaces, things that are going on that shouldn't be happening anymore. You're seeing students come out about things that are going on at varsities. People are starting to release some of these dark secrets that are just being going over and over and over through generations in the family. And what it is we're starting to wake up as a society. Like, people now are tired of living in this barbaric reality that, we've been forced to live these last couple of years. And when I say couple of years, it's been a few thousand years. I mean, let's not lie about that. But like, we're now at an era where people are coming, or what they call old souls. They're coming in and they're realizing, like, look, this stuff ain't right. Yo, why am I sitting here suffering? Why am I sitting here having to work myself to death? Why am I having to go to a university just to not have the ability to get a good job? Like, people are getting tired of that. And so they're starting to see, like, you know what, man, the world through the internet, let me see, there we go. Through the internet, because of the things that it's offering, and the fact that so many people now, man, they can make so much money just being on the internet, that going to school, even working a 9-to-5 job now, it doesn't really make much sense if you build a following and build an influence. And so a lot of people are seeing that, and so they're being able to have something that, as a society, we haven't had in a long time. And it's the ability to speak our voice, to talk how we want to talk. Let me see, I can't tell if this is, man, I'm sorry if this camera, if this one's a bad video. I'm gonna let this go. This will be a training piece also, showing you, like, look, sometimes you just got to go with the punches when you're filming. And so I was watching this one of this wrestler, Ryback, or ex-wrestler. And I don't really know much about him, I'll be honest with you. By the time he came through wrestling, I wasn't interested anymore. I was on adulting, which wasn't fun. And so he's saying a lot of reckless things right now because he's not controlling his emotional intelligence, which is what he really needs right now, just to let go of some of that anger and frustration of what happened to him and heal from it. But most importantly, he's telling truths of, like, yo, people are being abused, people are being mistreated. Like, we're human beings. Like, there's a level of respect and dignity that we all should be given. And those are the things that he's really trying to talk about, and I don't think people are hearing it because the way he's sending the message, yeah, it's not the best way. I'm not gonna lie. He's said some things that I've heard on a couple of other things about people. I'm not gonna repeat them. And yeah, it was out of pocket. I'm not gonna lie. It was out of pocket. However, just because a person's out of pocket doesn't mean it discredits everything that they're saying. And sometimes when people get out of pocket, those are the people that are hurting the most. And sometimes we should really take just a second or a third go around and try to really listen to what they're trying to say, because maybe it's the hurt, the disappointment, the letdown that's fueling that frustration and anger, and it's just making things come out that shouldn't come out. And so I was listening to his thing today, because it's funny. I was actually going to make a video about the book. That was because of my reading today. But when I saw what he was saying and listening to him, I listened to it like 3 times. I really wanted to hear him out and not get caught up in wanting to fight and things like that. And he was talking about how like his career was almost over, how he was hurt, how he was injured, and then how because of some of the few things that they didn't agree on, him and the management of the wrestling business, of that wrestling company, you know, then they started putting out bad information about him. Then they started telling people narratives they had to say about him. And I'm like, that's where his frustration is right there. Like, you're playing, you know, this guy, he sacrificed his body. He done a lot for that industry, even if he may have not been in there 30, 40, 50 years like other people, but like, he sacrificed. And sometimes sometimes people don't understand what it takes to sacrifice to get to certain places. Like I can tell you, like, the sacrifice I made of going to war, like, it wasn't easy, man. It wasn't easy. Or even the sacrifice of changing my eating lifestyle so I could figure out how to live again. Like, it wasn't easy. And when you make that sacrifice and you reap the benefits on the other side, you know, you don't want to lose those benefits because you worked hard for them. And you sure as hell don't want to let someone take them from you. Like, when people offer me meat and they're just like, oh man, you're really disciplined. I'm like, you don't understand the sacrifice I made, man. Like, that sacrifice I made, like, I'm proud to be where I am. I earned to be where I am today. And so I understood where he was coming from in that perspective. And it just really made me realize the world is changing. The world is finna go through a drastic change very, very fast. And a lot of these businesses that have been operating for hundreds or if not thousands of years, they're finna become out of business because they have obsolete practices of humanity. Like, we have to start treating people with respect. There's no more, you got to pay your dues, man. Like, all of that hazing and harassing people and abuse, those days are over, man. Like, it's no point in holding on to that stuff anymore. There's no point of trying to continue those traditions that lead to nowhere. Because let's be very honest, it's not abuse that helps us become the best of who we are. So why do we keep feeling like we got to keep, you know, doing abuse over and over? Like, you go to football, oh, you need to haze the water boy. You need to haze this person. You go to college, putting in a sorority, oh, you need to haze. Like, let's stop this stupidity. Like, the world has evolved now. Like, we can't keep acting animalistic. Like, we have to evolve emotionally to fit into this world now. And I'm just going to tell you right now, like, a lot of businesses are not going to be making it in the future. And it may sound bad, but you know what, man? It's going to make space for people who have a heart. It's going to make space for people who are going to pay a fair pay to the people who are working for them because they appreciate them. It's going to start creating new forms of governments where they put the people first. Like, we can't keep filling up my pockets first. We can't keep putting the human dollar over the human being, the dollar or whatever financial currency that's being used in your place that you live over the human being. Like, we have to put humanity first, and that's where we're getting to in life. And I don't think a lot of businesses are understanding that, or they would stop a lot of these old practices. they would stop a lot of this abuse, this slander, this hurting people's image and trying to blacklist people. Like, competition is dying day by day. Like, the more we're in competition, you're so far behind. Like, it's about collaboration. It's about lifting up our brother and sister up. It's about not only being accountable for ourselves, but making sure our brother and sister is accountable too for themselves. Like, the world has changed, and we have to understand and start seeing the world that we really live in now. And I just wanted to share that because listening to this video, you could feel the pain in his voice. And I'm not agreeing with 90% of the stuff he's saying. Like, I want to be very clear about that. He said some stuff very out of pocket. But it doesn't diminish the hurt, the pain that he's experiencing also. It doesn't also diminish the betrayal or lies that he experienced also. It just means it cut him deep. It hurt him. And I just, like, if you're a business owner, like, let me know, like, how do you value your employees? Like, I think we need to start talking more about these things, because instead of saying like, oh, you got to value your employees, if you're a business owner, how do you value your employees? Let me know in the comments. Or if you're someone who's working for a company that values you, let me know in the comments. How do they show value to you? So maybe some of these other business owners who are not doing it yet, they can start seeing like, oh, maybe I can implement this. Maybe I can do, some kind of team building event. Maybe I can do, buying just the employees donuts for breakfast or something, or bringing them coffee on Mondays. Like, what are some things out there? We all need to start sharing some of this information. It's so easy for us to share negative information, but let's start sharing some positive information too. So let me know down in the comments. And if you like this type of content, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you do. And if you know a business owner who's trying to figure out how to be better at business, share this video with them. Or if you know someone who's out there doing a better job in business, share this with them so they can add their insight down here in the comments. And most importantly, just remember this: I'm Jason, and success is simple once you know how.